you to know me well, to see me falling into place, to see the face behind the face, behind the face. I'd love for you to see me clear, with all my virtues and my lies, with all the pleasures and the pain around my eyes. I want the opportunity to show you the whole damn display, to open like a flower and to know you will stay. I wish that you could take me home and take the time to work me out, to say, yes, there she is, yes, that's what she's about. The joy of her, the silliness, the hell. I'd love for you to know me very well. Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight. Some of you know that today is my birthday. And some of you know how old I am today. No cheer. To be honest, I wasn't quite ready to face that particular fact head on. So I decided to do this show on my birthday to make me feel good, and I hope it does the same for you. So I think of that first song as the kind of liner notes, for those of you old enough to know what they are, or the roadmap to my group of songs. I want you to know me and all the bits and pieces that wander through my mind. Before I go on, you probably noticed that I'm not alone up here, so please welcome tonight's wonderful musical director, Paul Greenwood. So the great thing about a birthday is that it's a time to look back and look forward and figure out how you got to be here. You get to see which decisions were mistakes and which ones really worked out well for you. I don't smoke, I never touch a drink, so I'm sturdy as an oak, and I'm always in the pink. I leap out of bed at the crack of dawn, as graceful as an elk, as nimble as a fawn. The life I lead would bring a grin to the face of Dr. Pritikin. A-Tingle, I'm a glow, with the red corpuscles dancing through my muscles. I'm so full of health, I almost glow. And I owe it all to roughage. Roughage. I know the door to paradise is daily exercise. I laugh at care and woe. I'm a tingle, I'm a glow. I'm alive, so alive. I'm a tingle, can't you see it? I'm a glow. So we in Cabaret always like to have a theme for our group of songs, and I had a lot of good ideas. Why not a show about the continued erosion of women's rights going on around the world? Or about the growing disparity between wages and wealth here in New York City? Good topics, but to be very honest, I couldn't find one snappy tune about any of them. So I've been thinking a lot about aging and trying to understand the world from this new perspective. Now, a lot of my friends say, do not think about aging. Age is just a number, or you're only as old as you feel. Believe me, anyone who tells you you're only as old as you feel is young. If I were as old as I feel some mornings, I'd be getting a shout out from the Today Show or a letter from the president. That's what happens when you're 100. But I'm the kind of person who, when there's that proverbial elephant in the room, I just like to go up to it and pet it and really get to know it. Excuse me. So I titled this show Mature Love Songs, and I hope to use that kind of much heralded wisdom that comes with age to understand relationships. I was born in East Flatbush in Brooklyn. Woo! In a very traditional family, in a very traditional, old school kind of neighborhood. And all that was expected of me was to have a traditional woman's life. In those days, wherever you looked, that future was mirrored back to you in everything you saw and heard. Mornings, I'll be getting up. Mornings, I'll be setting up a tiny table for two. Breakfast, I'll be getting his breakfast. He'll be taking his shave and his shower. My happy hour. The coffee is steaming, and oh, but I'm dreaming while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. My baby likes bacon, so that's what I'm making while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. Our life has been so nice and chummy right from the start. When I won his tummy, I won his heart. My baby is happy, so that's why I'm happy, 'cause I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. I'm baking a biscuit, he's willing to risk it, while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. He's drying the dishes, he's breaking the dishes, while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. I serve a bowl of steaming oatmeal, tasty but shucks. Who the heck likes oatmeal sprinkled with Lux? To show that he's grateful, he eats a big plateful, but faints right after breakfast for the one he loves. Our life has been so nice and chummy right from the start. When I won his tummy, I won his heart. My baby is happy, so that's why I'm happy while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. It seemed pretty simple and straightforward. Of course, maybe from my old neighborhood, I'd leave out the part about the bacon. I was ready. I was willing. I just wasn't quite able to make it work for me. The first way to lose a man, you meet a charming fella and you're out for a spin. The motor fails and he just wears a helpless grin. Don't bat your eyes and say, "Oh, what a romantic spot we're in." Just jump out, crawl under the car, tell him it's the gasket, and fix it in 2 seconds flat with a hairpin. That's a good way to lose a man. Takes you to the baseball game, you sit knee to knee. He says, "The next man up at bat will bunt, you'll see." Don't say, "What's a bunt? This game's too hard for little me." Just say, "Bunt? Are you nuts? With 1 out, 2 men on base, and a left-handed batter coming up, he'll walk right into a triple play the way it happened in the 5th game of the World Series in 1923. That's a sure way to lose a man. A splendid way to lose a man. Just throw your knowledge in his face. He'll never try for second base. The 3rd way to lose a man. The lifeguard at the beach that all the girlies adore swims bravely out to save you through the ocean roar. Don't say, oh thanks, I would have drowned in just 1 second more. Just push his head under the water and yell, last one in is a rotten egg, and beat him back to shore. That's a swell way to lose a man. You've met your perfect mate, and it's been love from the start. He whispers, you're the one to whom I give my heart. Don't say, I love you too, my dear. Let's never, ever part. Just say, I'm afraid you've made a grammatical error. It's not to who I give my heart, it's to whom. I give my heart, you see, with the use of the preposition to, who becomes the indirect object, which makes the use of whom imperative, which I can easily show you with just this simple graph. It's a fine way to lose a man. A fine, 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 fine way to lose a man. A dandy way to lose a man. Just be more well-informed than he. He'll never hear, oh, promise me. Just show him where his grammar errs, and mark your towels, hers and hers. Yes, girls, you too can lose your man if you will lose this simple plan. 100 easy ways to lose a just found out about love and I like it. I like it. I like what love has been doing to me. I hold you close in my arms and I like it. I like it. Oh, what a wonderful future I see. It's a one-time only. It's a lifetime deal. And I know it's real. I can tell by the way that I feel. Now I'm living it up and I like it. I like it. Hey, you, give me a clue. What's love doing to you? Well, it looks like you could be liking it too. It's a one-time only. It's a lifetime deal. And I know it's real. I can tell by the way that I feel. Right now I'm living it up and I like it. I like it. Hey, you, give me a clue. What's love doing to you? Well, it looks like you could be liking it too. Well, it looks as though you could be liking it too. Thank you. Thank you. Truth in advertising. Truth in advertising. I'm single. So I'm not the world's foremost authority on relationships. But I've had my share of adventures. You know, every time I tell a friend of mine about a date that I went on or a new man that I met, they always say to me, oh, Linda, that story is hysterical. You should write it down and use it in your act. And I promise you, that as soon as I find any of those moments even remotely funny, I will share. But I think of dating as the yearning after new relationships as the last bastion of hope in the world. The last place where people hold out their dream of finding new love and stay with it, holding on to that dream even in the face of, well, let's just say reality. Although, of course, sometimes that optimism can best be described as delusion. Someone's been sending me flowers. Oh, what a sweet thing to do. Every new day brings another bouquet, and I don't know who to say thank you to. Sometimes they're thrown through my window, or down through the chimney they fall. Sometimes at night when I've turned out my light, they come through a crack in the wall. Now that my home is a garden, bursting with blossom and bloom, I stand there for hours, admiring the flowers. I'd like to sit down, but there just isn't room. Someone's been sending me flowers, more than I ever have had. Remarkable stuff, but enough is enough. If I see another bouquet, I'll go mad. Flowers are the language of love, I'm told, a language divine. Every dainty little blossom has a message to unfold, all except mine. If flowers are the language of affection, how can I interpret my collection? He started by sending me bluebells. Oddly enough, they were gray. Each faded bloom had a nasty perfume. Besides being gray, they were paper mache. There followed a garland of fungus. And then, for a tropical treat, he sent me a plant that proceeded to pant and later began to eat meat. The cactus corsage touched me deeply. A beautiful plant in its prime. I felt much the same when the rock garden came, one rock at a time. Somebody madly adores me. I know not who to suspect, but I cannot afford to be madly adored, so I do wish you'd stop sending flowers. Simply give her heart to just any man. I've got a very special kind of man in mind. Unless the man's the sort of man I'm dreaming of, then he is not the kind of man that I can love. The man I can love must have a nose, no more than 2 arms, and about 10 toes. He must be 6 feet tall, at the very least 5. I can't love just any man. He must be alive. The man I can love must have a chin, some eyes and some ears, and if possible, skin. He must be very, very handsome, or else very, very near. Oh, and oh, when will the man I can love appear? I know you will say that I am asking too much, that I am chasing an ideal, that such a man cannot be real. But deep in my within my heart. The man I can love must have a spleen, a bottom, a top, and some things in between. He must be wise or stupid, shy or cocky, white or colored, lean or stocky, single, married, hairy, or bald as a pearl. I can love only that kind of man. I can love only that kind of man. I can love only that kind of man, or that kind of girl. Like everything else, being single has its advantages, although I'm not sure that being able to eat out of a jar or binge watching TV qualify as a life philosophy. Now, it's true that in some really good relationships, these quirks can find their place. And in a bad relationship, these things could be the building blocks or the breaking points. But the fact is that at some point, you have to figure out how to face and embrace loneliness. So I decided to find some songs about the single life. I found this lovely song by the guys who wrote The Fantastics, that sweet exploration of the joys and pitfalls of young love. It had some wonderful images and ideas in it. I know loneliness quite well. We share the same hotel. We go to concerts and to plays. We eat in all the best cafes. We stay up late, forgetting days gone by. At least we try. But honestly, that song was just too depressing. It's almost as though they took that sweet song from the Fantastics, you know, soon it's gonna rain, I can feel it. Soon it's gonna rain, I can tell. And rewrote it as, soon it's gonna rain, and rain, and rain. Anyway, here's a song by Rod McEwen. I live alone. That hasn't always been easy to do. For just a single woman, sometimes at night the walls talk back to me. They seem to say, wasn't yesterday a better day? Always alone, at home or in a crowd, a single woman off on a private cloud, caught in a world few people understand. I am what I am, a single woman. There was a time, I don't remember when, the house was full of love, but then again, it may have been imagination's plan, just to help along. A single woman. Here's Stephen Sondheim's point of view. Live alone and like it, free as the birds in the trees. I above the briars, live alone and like it. I do whatever I please. When my heart desires, free to hang around or fly at any old time. No equivocation, most of all, no guarantees. That's my only motto, free of obligation, only the murmuring breeze. As an obligato, live alone and like it. Why is that such a crime? Free to call the tune, free to say if I'm gonna work or play, I can have the moon. But I don't have to have it night and day. Anyway, what I love is gliding, where the wind takes me to, flying high and hiding up in a tree. Live alone and like it, that's the answer for me. Free to turn the page, when the story can never be resolved, free to disengage. When the story starts getting too involved, problem solved, what grow lonely, a week to concern myself, maybe I'm lonely, only I'm free, live alone and like it, don't come down from that tree. That's the answer for me, that's the answer for me. Maybe the best song about the single life is this one written by Noel Coward. Though life buffets me obscenely, it serenely goes on. Although I question its conclusion, illusion is gone. Frequently I put a bit by, safe for a rainy day. Nobody here can say to what indeed the years are leading. Though I never really grumble, life's a jumble indeed. And in my efforts to succeed, I've had to formulate a creed. I believe in doing what I can, in crying when I must, in laughing when I choose. Hey ho, if love were all, I should be lonely. I believe the more you love a man, the more you give your heart, the more you're bound to lose. Although when shadows fall, I think if only somebody splendid really needed me, someone affectionate and dear, cares would be ended if I knew that he wanted to have me near. But I believe that since my life began, the most I've had is just a talent to amuse. Hey ho, if love were all. Hey ho, if love were all. When we were young, but old enough for us to understand, we all believed in fairies and the folks from fairyland. But the modern child's been running wild. They want to know too much. They've never understood about Red Riding Hood. They've read of Cinderella and Goldilocks and such. Some stories tell them oodles, and some don't tell them much. But even though 'twas long ago that all this came about, they still can get the goods on modern Riding Hoods. How could Red Riding Hood have been so very good and still keep the wolf from the door? Father and mother, she had none. So where, oh where did that money come from? Please let me ask it. Who filled the basket? The storybooks never tell. They say that she found old Thin Granny's bed, a big sunbonnet pulled down over her head. But you know, and I know, what she found instead. How could Red Riding Hood have been so very good and still keep the wolf from the door? They say that she was a maid most discreet. She'd never pick up strange men in the street. But you know, and I know, what it costs to eat. How could Red Riding Hood have been so very good and still keep the wolf from the door? And tell me, who paid the rent for Mrs. Rick Van Winkle when Rick Van Winkle went away? Who slept for 20 years? Who was it kissed away her tears? She had no friends in the place, no one to embrace, but the landlord always left there with a smile on his face. Who paid the rent for Mrs. Rick Van Winkle when Rick Van Winkle went away? Oh, many years ago lived the wife of happy Rick Van Winkle. One day she sent him away when the little stars began to twinkle. All that he had under his hat, and she was glad to see him go. So over the hills he went, left her without a cent. One thing I'm dying to know, who paid the rent for Mrs. Rick Van Winkle when Rick Van Winkle went away? Although he slept for 20 years, who was it kissed away her tears? She never married again. She was lonely, but then you'll always find a rooster looking around for some hen. Who paid the rent for Mrs. Rick Van Winkle when Rick Van Winkle went away? They say that she had a head full of curls. She was the nicest of all the nice girls. But you know, and I know, what girls do for girls. How could Red Riding Hood have been so very good and still keep the wolf? Hello, wolf. And still keep the wolf from the door. In the area of relationships for me came with the coming of the women's movement in the 1970s. When I was growing up, women's roles and purposes were very clearly defined, but suddenly we were offered a whole new perspective and women didn't have to play by the old rules anymore. We were encouraged to go after whatever we wanted, men included, and the world was ripe for our picking. Before I met you, no one attracted me. No love thoughts worried or distracted me. My disposition kept exempting me until you started in preempting me. And all this time you've really been tempting me. Maybe you can tell me what we ought to do. Now that you got me going, what you gonna do? Is it up to me? Is it up to you? What kind of game is this we've begun? Was it done just for fun? We have connect till I'm wrecked. Won't you tell me what you expect? Is this to be a game of kiss and never tell? Folly and farewell, heaven or maybe hell? Which is it gonna be, love or gin? Wife or sin? Let's begin. Now that I've got you going, what you gonna do? Is it up to me? Sure, it's up to you. What kind of game is this I've begun? Was it done just for fun? I suspect you'd be wrecked if I answered you quite direct. Is this to be a game of fall and glad you fell? Folly and farewell, heaven or maybe hell? Which is it gonna be? Don't like gin? Don't like sin? Wife? Let's begin. Don't ask the lady what the lady's done before. Ask what the lady's doing now. Don't poke around inside the lady's bureau drawer. What's there to thrill ya? Ain't memorabilia. Don't drag the laundry out when you're about to score. This henna lasts a month and not a minute more. Don't ask the lady what the lady's done before. Ask what the lady's doing. Step up and you're a shoo-in. Ask what the lady's doing now. Don't diddle with chit-chat. Don't fiddle with small talk. What good is the fancy footwork if it's all talk? The trouble with men is once the ice is thawed, they want to know, have you ever been abroad? Don't ask a lady when the lady had it last. Ask if the lady wants it. If you've a notion how this evening should be passed, don't interview me. Just put it to me. That you are willing to is thrilling to the core. But make it fast before my facelift hits the floor. Don't ask the lady what the lady's done before. Ask what the lady's doing before it all needs gluing. Don't ask how well I'm doing, what other swell I'm doing. Ask what the hell I'm doing now. This is the most mature love song I know. I don't iron his shirts. I don't sew on his buttons. I don't know all the jokes he tells or the songs he hums, though I may hold him all through the night. He may not be here when the morning comes. I don't pick out his ties or expect his tomorrows, but I know when he's in my arms, he's where he wants to be. We have no memories, bittersweet with time, and I doubt if he'll spend New Year's Eve with me. I don't share his name, I don't wear his ring. There's no piece of paper saying that he's mine, but he says he loves me. so I don't share his name, and I don't wear his ring, so there's no piece of paper saying that he's mine, so we don't have the memories. I've had enough memories, I've seen enough mornings, I've spent enough evenings, I've had enough birthdays to know what I want. Life is anyone's guess. It's a constant surprise. So you don't plan to fall in love. When you fall, you fall. I'd rather have 50% of him or any percent of him than all of anybody else at all. So one night in the 1980s, I was sitting in some bar, and I met a wonderful guy named Murray Grand. Now, for the record, at that time, I was singing and doing stand-up comedy in bars and clubs all over town. And Murray Grand was a wonderful composer and performer, and he wrote very funny songs. He had heard me perform, and we got to talking. And the next time we met, he gave me a handful of his songs, which I performed many times. So I wanted to include one of his songs tonight, and as luck would have it, he happened to write a song that turns my careful consideration of the aging process on its head. Let me run in front of trucks, smash the mirror on my wall, let me puff away and choke, try a little coke, and have myself a ball. After all, I'm too old to die young. Let me cross against the light. Let me drive when I'm drunk. Let me be a little hip, take a little trip, try a little junk. After all, I'm too old to die young. Let me pick up strangers in the street, sleep with everyone I meet, drinking dives along the docks, get the pox. Let me stay a trifle stoned, who's to know and who's to care? Let me find another thrill, pop another pill, breathe polluted air. Do I care if I'm minus a lung? After all, I'm too old to die young. Let me wear my ankle strap shoes, full in potholes if I choose. If someone says I'm a sight, they might be right. Let me... I know. See how old I am? 1, 2, 3, let my face begin to fall. Well, I care, my liver's gone when I'm lying on the floor beside. Let me sail, let me sink, lock me up in the clink, drop the bomb on my head. Not a tear will I shed, not a moan, not a sigh, as I kiss my assets goodbye. What the hell? I'm too old to die young. Okay. So one of the things I really like about getting older, now that you asked, Paul, is you get to look back through your life, so, over the years and see it as kind of a grand journey with ups and downs, hard times and joyous ones. You get to see which choices weren't so good and which were pretty brave. But the thing I've learned is that the most important part is just the journey itself. So thank you for coming along on this part of mine. So often as I wait for sleep, I find myself reciting the words I've said or should have said, like scenes that need rewriting. Smiles I should have answered, doors perhaps I should have opened, songs forgotten in the morning. I relive the roles I've played, the tears I may have squandered, the many pipers I have paid along the roads I've wandered. Yet all the time I knew it, love was somewhere out there waiting, though I may regret a kiss or two. If I had changed a single day, what went amiss or went astray, I may have never found my way to you. Change a thing that happened on my way to you. At the Duplex. The Duplex is one of the classic cabaret clubs in New York, and it just gives you everything that you ever could want as a performer. The management is really helpful and friendly. The wait staff, I'm sure you've seen, are terrific, and they're all artists and performers in their own right, so be very generous to them. But it has all the kind of accoutrement that one would want for a cabaret act, including a mirrored ball. So we had a lot of discussions about what would be the exact right place to use the mirrored ball. Which song would it really be the most appropriate to, support? So I thought every song. But cooler heads prevailed, so we came to this compromise. get to express my gratitude to the people who made this all possible. And it, you know, it kind of feels like I get to actually use that Academy Award speech I wrote when I was about 13. I haven't given up yet, but there's a good chance. And from what I recall, the most important part of that speech was where I said, no matter what anyone ever tells you, girls should never stop dreaming. I do want to thank the people who made tonight possible. It's starting with the Duplex, of course. It's wonderful working here. And tonight we have a double header. The person who is the booking manager who makes all the arrangements, you can't imagine how complicated it can get, but he does it with grace and style, also has been the master of lights and sound. So please help me thank Thomas Honig. Excuse me. And you know, so a lot of you know that I lived in New Mexico for several years and came back to New York. And before I moved back, I came to New York for a 3-month trial period. Now, I know I had spent a lot of years here before I went, but I just wanted to sort of get the feel of the place again. And as a wonderful happenstance, I happened to see an article in the paper about something called the Cabaret Performance Workshop, that they were having this 8-week class where you could work on cabaret material and then do a group show. I thought, that would be perfect. I'm here for 3 months, I'll get to perform, you know, anyway. So I did take the class, and since that time, it's a little more than 10 years ago now, I have been fortunate enough to be associated with the Cabaret Performance Workshop. And one of the things that I got from it is that I got to be part of a wonderful community of performers and singers, talented men and women who are just always encourage you both by how hard they strive and how wonderful their work is and how supportive they are. So that's been great. But the other part of being part of the Cabaret Workshop is you get to work with the woman who founded it and leads it, and she leads partly by example because she is the definition of a great cabaret performer. But it's almost impossible to talk about how supportive and encouraging and focused, and how she gets you to really keep pushing and trying to do, you know, to show yourself and really, you know, enjoy it. So it's been my great honor and pleasure to work with her, and tonight she was the director of the show. So it wasn't her fault that I didn't remember. So please join me in thanking Helen Baldessari. So that leaves one more person, and I probably don't have to tell you what a magnificent musician he is, because you've heard that tonight. But what you may not know is that, is there a nicer person on earth? Is there anyone more supportive who could make you feel safer, who can get you out of any jam you get into? Thank God. It's not always true. Trust me, not always true. A godsend, a magnificent musician, and a great person. Please join me in thanking Paul Greenwood. One more thank you goes to you. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Some of you I've known my whole life, and some of you I've known like a lot of years in between. And your constant support and encouragement and love has made a big difference. And so thank you so much for being here tonight. Live at 5 and CNN keep us all abreast of breaking stories that can tend to make you anxious and depressed. Problems with no answers hang on like some nagging cough. And every day some brand new issue rears its head to piss you off. Bad guys win, optimism's wearing thin. things are spinning out of control. Cynicism's all the fad. World events could make you mad as hatters. Almost every day, some underpinning slips away. These aren't laughing matters. Time bombs tick. People keep on getting sick. And a nickel's not worth a cent. Wickedness and greed abound. Just as peace is gaining ground, it shatters. Hate is here to stay, and justice goes to those who pay. These aren't laughing matters. The truth is scarier by far than anything that Stephen King could write. The stories in the papers are a daily small decline and fall, spelled out in black and white. What to do? How to take a brighter view when your noodle's totally fried? Human spirits need to be leavened by some levity. So take those blues and bounce them off the wall. Keep your humor, please, 'cause don't you know it's times like these where laughing matters most of all.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I just have one more thing to say to you. Someday, when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Oh, but you're lovely, with your cheeks so soft and your smile so warm. There is nothing for me but to love you, just the way you look tonight. With each word, your tenderness grows, tearing my fear apart. And the laugh that wrinkles your nose touches my foolish heart. Oh, lovely. Never, never change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight. Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, once again, Linda Rose.